Hi, for this video we're going to spend a few minutes in Photoshop looking at how we can better refine selections and use those better selections for compositing images. So I have a folder sitting here on my desktop with just a few images sitting in it. On the Mac I can just select one and press the space bar to preview. So I have this bear who is a little bit challenging because of his fur on the background there. I have Carl, who looks pretty scary, actually pretty bad color there as well. I've got this scared guy here, and I've got this wilderness image here that I'm going to use as a background. So I want to look at combining these together, and I need selections on them to put them together. So I'm going to start off over in Photoshop, and so far I've just opened the wilderness photo. So you can just take this and drag it onto your Photoshop icon, or you can come up here to File and say Open and go select your file. So I've opened that one up. I'm going to do a Command 0, Fit in Window, and I'm actually going to push the F key to go to full screen, and that way I can kind of maneuver around how I like in here. I might leave that, I might turn that off in a minute. We'll see. So that's my first image I have right there. That's going to be my background. It does not need a selection. It's just going to reside in the background there. So my next step is to actually go get my next file that I'm going to work with. And so let's go back out to the Finder, and I'm going to start with the bear. He's the tricky one. And I'm going to take the bear, and I am going to drop him onto my Photoshop icon over here. And now I have the bear open as well. So, you know what, let's get back out of full screen for a second. It'll make it easier, because what I can show you is you see that I have the two tabs up here at the top. Okay, so I have both files open. So I want the bear over on top of my wilderness. There's a couple different ways I could go about it. I could look at my bear here. I want all of that image, so I could do a select all, which is a Command A. And I could copy it. It's a Command C, or you can get to copy right there. I could switch to my wilderness one, and I could paste it, Command V. And that's just telling me my color space is not identical. So I can copy paste him on top if I would like, and there he is. And I can see over here, see he's now pasted on top as a new layer. So that's one way I can go. Let's take him back out again. Another approach, I could take my bear here and I could drag that tab loose, making sure I have my selection tool up here at the top. I could just click on the bear and drag him over that window. There's my same warning again, and that drug him in there, and you see he's now another layer sitting on top of the background. So that one works as well. And I'm going to take you to one of my favorites these days. I'm going to combine these back. Okay, so see they're both there. Sometimes the way I like to do it, and especially if I have multiple images, even more than two open, is I come over to my layer over here. There's my bear. I'm going to right click on it, and I can duplicate the layer. Okay, so that's how I would just make a copy of the bear usually. But what I can do is I can give him a name. Let's call him Bear. And then down here under Document, instead of staying in the bear file, I'm going to switch to the wilderness file. So I'm going to duplicate this layer and put it into the wilderness file. So I'm going to say OK. Same warning again. And now if I switch over to my wilderness file, you'll see that they're both there. So that's another approach that you can take as well. Okay, I'm going to go close the bear. I don't need him anymore. Get him out of my way. Okay, so here's my bear. Again, I can move him around. He is, of course, clipped on a couple edges, and so what I'm going to end up doing is pushing him down into the corner here and letting him just hang off of the edge, so he's out of the frame. I don't want to see those clipped edges. The problem, of course, is that I have this background here, and I don't want that there. So a lot of times when people are just starting out, they're very tempted. They go get the eraser tool over here and they just start erasing the background. Okay, so there's definitely one approach there. Of course, he's going to get really challenging up here amongst his fur, and if I'm deleting this, you'll see that, I'm going to kind of bump up against that, and I'm kind of deleting part of him and leaving part of him, and that's kind of okay. And in this case, it's kind of okay because I have a soft-edged brush. I can go up here to the top here, and I see I have 0 hardness. If I turn it all the way up to 100, I have a hard-edged brush. You see what that does there. Okay, that's my eraser. Either way, though, this is less than ideal, not the ideal way of going about it. And so what I really want to do is I want to remove that background, but I want to be non-destructive. I don't want to actually, see, I'm deleting these pixels here, and I don't really want to go about it that way. So I'm going to, let's get back to where I was before. Let's come up here and get my history. Oh, there you are right there. And I can just undo these guys. Okay, I'm back to the point where I just have moved the bear in here. Okay, I want to remove this background section out, but I don't want to be destructive, meaning I don't want to delete the pixels. So we're going to do that through masking. You may have seen masking. I'll go over it again, but I really want to show you how much refinement we can create in the masking. And it's going to start with a selection and then turn into a mask. So we have various tools we can work with. We can use any of our selection tools, but probably our easiest is to come over here and grab our quick selection tool. Again, this one's working like a brush. I can use the brackets, left or right brackets, to make it larger or smaller. And I'm going to, actually, you know what, I'm going to move the bear out here for the moment. I don't want to miss the edges. Get my quick selection tool again, and I'm just going to select the background behind the bear. Okay, so you can do a relatively rough selection here, because if you look closely, you'll see that this is kind of clipping parts of the fur, but we're going to fix that in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to continue over here, adding to my selection. That looks pretty good, actually. It's rough, but that's okay. And I do want to point out that you can either select the background or you can select the image itself. I could have come in here and selected the bear, and he's pretty consistent in color, so it wouldn't have been too hard, but the background is even more consistent, so it's an easier selection to make. So either way, select either the background or the image that you want to keep. Okay, once I have that selection, I'm going to come over here to my Layers panel. I'm going to look down here at the bottom and find this icon right here. And you see there it says Add Layer Mask as I hover over it. But it's a white rectangle with a black circle in the middle. So that's the one I want to make my layer mask. So once I have my selection, I'm going to click on that. There we go. I've masked it. Now, that's the opposite of what I want, but that's going to be easy enough to fix. The first thing I want to point out, though, is here, there is my layer. There are my pixels right there. And here, there's my mask. And the white area is what you can see, okay? The black is taken away, or it's hidden. It's masked out. The white is what you can see, and therefore this area is what I can see, because that's what sits in the white area. Okay, so I'm part way there right now. Okay, let's slide over here. I need to open this up. I'm on my laptop, so my screen's not real big. And I need to come to the Properties panel right here. I just opened it up so you can see some more. And I'm going to use this Select and Mask button over here. But before I use it, I want to use the invert down here. So when I click on the invert, it inverses my mask. And you can even see it down here on the mask down here, what it has done to it. Okay, so that's roughly what I'm looking for right there, but my edges are pretty bad. Now I'm going to go to the Select and Mask button and click on that. And it changes my view. Now I have a whole new panel over here with a new set of adjustments on there. First I want to come over here to the view, and I have different ways I could look at it. You see I'm on white right now. You can see how it's kind of given me a white background. I can go to onion skin. I can go to the marching ants, which is our selection. You can use overlay. You can go on black. You can just do black and white, and sometimes this is real useful for seeing how good an edge you have. But in this case, I want to use on layers because this shows me what I'm going for. The bear up against the other background layer. So I'm going to leave it there, close that back. The next part I'm going to work with is the edge detection right here. And this might be closed when you first get here. Just click on the triangle, and there's my edge detection. And what this does, it actually comes in and it looks at the edges. In fact, I'm going to zoom in here so we can see our edges better. It looks at the edges and determines what is the bear that I'm trying to keep and what I'm trying to get rid of. Okay, so it works on that. So I can grab this and start dragging it over. And as I do it, let's go a little more drastic. You can start to see, okay, you see how, like right in this area right here, I can see his fur, but I can see the sky in between. Whereas if I take it back again, you see I have more a solid edge right there. Okay, so it's finding the edges of his fur. Now, I'm going to crank it all the way up, and if I take it all the way up, it goes too far. Like right up here on this ear, you're starting to see the sky through his ear, which we definitely don't want. So your goal is to find the right spot along here where you're getting nice edges on the fur, but not taking it too far. Okay, so I'm going to make some adjustments here. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see. Yep. So I can see like the needles in here in his fur. The sky is looking pretty good around there. I think I'm happy with that. Okay. So, by the way, you can look. See, the 41 pixels, what that refers to. If I come back up here to the top and I click on the Show Edge, you see that's the edge. That's the area that it's working in. Okay, so it's calculating the right area in that area. I'm going to turn that back off again. Now, one more thing I have here is Smart Radius, and I'm going to turn this on and see if it helps. So, in this case, you can turn it off and on and see if you think it's doing a better job with it or without it. So, and I'll tell you what it's doing. I think it's helping a little bit. It's hard to tell. Nah, I think I'm going to leave it off. I kind of like what it's doing here. What Smart Radius does is it's a little bit more intelligent when you turn that on. And it works better with these kind of fuzzy edges that I have here with this fur, as opposed to, let's scroll down here, like his nose is a little bit harder, a little bit cleaner edge, okay? In fact, we can look and see how things go here. So let's turn it back on and see how it does here. I can definitely see the difference in the fur when I turn it on. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave him on. I like that look. So it's a little bit more intelligent about harder or cleaner edges versus the fuzzier edges. Okay, but to be honest, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. So you're really kind of better off to flip between it and see if you like it on or not. Okay, we have some other global refinements here. You may want to use, you might not want to use. Smoothing. So that kind of just gives you a smoother edge along here. The feather opens it up, so it's like it's using a gradient on the edge, so it opens it up more there. But I'm pretty happy with what I've got going on. Contrast, so I can make it, see how it's making it more contrasty there. I really don't want that. Here, I'll do the feather again as well. Okay, you see how it's feathering it. I don't need that. And the smoothness, well, I'm not really seeing the difference on that one, so that's okay. And then I have a shift edge right here. Shift edge, sometimes you still end up with a halo around something. And this will shift your selection either into the image just a little bit to cut out that halo, or you can shift it out away from the image just a little bit. Again, in this case, I don't need to shift it either direction. Okay, I'm almost done here. I'm going to do a Command 0. There he is. He's looking pretty good. The one other thing I want to do, and actually I should have left myself zoomed in. Sorry, let's come back in here again for a moment. The one other thing that I want to adjust before I click on the OK button is right down here under Output Settings. Again, you may have to open that up. There's a Decontaminate Colors button. And this usually is a good idea. Again, check it. But what this does is you'll notice around here where it's doing well on the fur, there's still kind of a little bit of a light brown glow here. That shouldn't be there. You should see the sky through clear. So once you have tried out that Decontaminate Color button, checking to see if you like what it does to it, we go ahead and click on the OK button. And now we're back out to where we started. Okay, so now if I zoom out, you can see how my bear sits in here, and he has much nicer edges on him. Okay, so he looks much more natural on that background. So now I can take him and push him over into the corner, so he's coming off the edge there. You can also see down here in my layers, here's my bear, there's the mask that's on there, and there's actually a copy here now because of the Decontaminate Color. So when you use Decontaminate Colors, it makes a copy of it because it actually modifies the bear image. It's modifying the color. So this is my original down here if I need to go back to it. Okay, so now I have two of my images combined. Let's go add one more in, I think. So I'm going to go back. Actually, let's save. I haven't saved it all. Let's do a save as and save on my computer. And let's just call this Scared by the Bear. And I'll save him right there. Okay. Okay, I need one more image, and I'm going to go get this scared guy right here. So I'm going to take him, drag him to my Photoshop icon. There he is. Okay, you can move him over into your layered Photoshop file any way you like. I'm going to go do the duplicate layer version. I'm going to call this guy, I don't know, Bob. His name's Bob. I'm going to move him over into my layered PSD file and say OK. Okay, at this point I don't need this one anymore, so I'm going to close that. And there he is. Wow, he's much bigger than that. So I've done Command minus to zoom out a little bit. And I am going to do a Command T to transform. Let's see, how big do I want him to be? I'm going to want him to be smaller. So I'm going to grab the corner and drag him down. I don't know. We'll start with that size right there. I'm not sure how big I want him to end up being. But this way I can at least see a little better what I'm working with. Okay, so I'm going to leave him like that. When I'm done doing a transform, there's a checkbox up here at the top, where I usually just hit the return key and it accepts that. Okay, I'm going to repeat the process that I used before. So I am going to come over and get my quick selection tool. Okay, I'm starting to select my background. This one's not, I'm going to do Command 0. This one's not doing as well. Okay, see, like his hand is in my selection, and that's not what I want to do. So if I hold down the Option key while I have this tool, I can click and I can take things back out of my selection. You see how that's fixing that? But I'm going to have to be careful and go get the fingers. And like I've lost an ear over here. There we go, I've got the ear back. So I'm going to use the left bracket and make my brush size smaller. Just a little bit more. Okay, got to get his fingers back. The tip of that finger. Okay, this seems to be coming along okay. Almost there. One more finger. Okay, let me look across here. Oh, missed part of his neck right here. And a little bit in the, I was missing some collar. Okay, I think I have it all. Sorry, as I look around the whole thing. Yes. Okay, I have a pretty good selection on him now. So, again, I'm going to come down to my Layers panel. I'm going to go right here and add the layer mask while I have that selection. So click on that. Again, that's the opposite of what I wanted, but that's just because the background was easier to select. So now coming up into my properties panel, I click the invert key. There we go. That's better. I do have this funny line off here on the white. I'll show you what to do with that in a minute. Let's go to my selected mask. Okay. And same types of things. Okay, so it kept my same view here on layer, so that's good. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to come to my edge detection. I'm going to turn on smart, and then I'm going to drag this up a bit. And it's probably going to help if I zoom in a little. I can get a better idea of what this is looking like. Okay, his fingers are kind of disappearing on me, which means it's kind of a funny image. Okay, that's looking decent. Do you see the halo around him? So this is like that halo I was talking about before. Let's turn Smart Radius off. Doesn't seem to be making a difference on that. Okay, and I'm pulling it up and I still have the halo. It's not helping that. But look what it's done to the fingers. Okay, so that's not good. So let's bring this back down again. I need to keep the fingers in there. So I'm going to have to approach this just a little bit differently. It's not a bad selection or a bad mask, but I kind of have a halo around the whole thing. So what I'm going to end up doing on this one is I'm going to use the shift edge right here, and I want to trim into him just a little bit. So if I pull left, you see how it's trimming in just a little bit? Let's look at the sweater down here. Yep, that's looking better. Oh, much better. Look at this. Much cleaner edge there. Let's check the fingers. The fingers look pretty good. His hair up there looks pretty good. Okay, I think we've got a pretty good mask on this one now. And so I would want to go check the Decontaminate Colors, but to be honest, my edges look really good. So you might want to check that one. I'm just going to go ahead and say OK and go with this one. Okay, so pretty happy with this guy. Now the question is, how do I want to layer him? Now, notice, see what happened down there? I didn't mask all of that because it was out of sight, so I can't use that area, or I have to go fix my mask there. That's okay, I have enough. Oh, actually, look at the top. You see that part up here as well? So let's look at how we can fix that real quick. This is an easy fix. If I look down here, okay, you see the white area is what shows through. See, because he shows through here. This is showing out here, and I want that to go away. So what I can do is I can just get the paintbrush. Okay, I'm going to come down here and look at what my colors are. So right here gives me the default colors. This flips them. I want black because I want to take this black area, or the white area there, and fill it with black. So I'm going to come right there. Oops, I must have a soft brush. Give me a nice hard brush. And I must have opacity turned on or something. Yep, right here I've got the opacity turned on. So I've got to take this thing up to 100 as well. Okay, so now look at that. That's much better. And so I can just paint this out. But I'm not deleting those pixels. What I'm doing, and you can see down here, see how I'm changing the mask right there. So I'm just cleaning the mask up. Earlier I appeared to have a white line running down the left side. I don't see it over here now, but I could fix it the same way. By the way, when I'm here, see how this is selected? That means I'm working on the mask. If I click here and do that, you see I'm actually painting in my pixels. I'm going to undo that. If I click over here, I'm painting in my mask. See, that got a hole in it, so I can undo that. Okay, so that's the difference between those two right there. Okay, so I've got a good selection on this guy now. I just have to arrange how I want them to be. I think I'm going to take him and slide him back here. Let's see, the bear should be in front of him based on his reaction. So I'm going to take the bear, here's my bear layer, and drag him above Bob. There we go. So the bear's in the foreground. And I'm going to take Bob, and I think maybe Bob needs to be smaller because he's back behind the bear. So I did a couple command minuses to zoom out and make him smaller like that. See how much room I've got without having to clean up my selection. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe smaller again. Let's see. Hard to say. But he's definitely behind the bear now. I'm going to hit return and accept that. Let's go back to the bear. Maybe. Could even take Bob. Let's Command T. I'm going to right click and let's flip him. Oh yeah, there we go. Flip horizontal. So when you're in transform doing a right click, you've got other options here. That looks better. He's facing the right direction now. Oops, excuse me. Let's see, do I have, there we go. Let's move him over. Okay, and he's looking more like the bear is there. So anyway, sorry, got caught up messing with stuff. So you can get an idea of how we can create selections on things. We can do better refinement on our selections, layer things to start composing images together.